Good evening and welcome to The Report with me, John Rees. The clampdown on civil liberties in Australia is one of our main stories tonight, and we'll also be looking at the huge worldwide climate change protests over the weekend. But first, the outcome of the 5-month dispute over the presidency of Afghanistan. The deadlock ended on Sunday after the two presidential candidates agreed to form a unity government. Former Finance Minister Ashraf Ghani will become the next president of Afghanistan. His opponent, Dr. Abdullah Abdullah, the former foreign minister, will become the government's chief executive. The two will share control over key institutions such as the Afghan army. So, is this a case of meet the new boss, same as the old boss? Or is it just a stitch-up blessed by the United States? Or could the new government keep the country together after NATO forces are reduced at the end of this year? Nathaniel Amos Sansom has more on this story.
5 months of gridlock appeared to come to an end yesterday, as the two warring presidential candidates in Afghanistan agreed to form a unity government. The deal leaves former Finance Minister Ashraf Ghani as the winner of the election, meaning that he has become president-elect and will be sworn in at the end of the week. His opponent, the former Foreign Minister Dr. Abdullah Abdullah, will become the Afghan government's chief executive. Under the deal they signed up to, the two leaders will share control over who leads key institutions, such as the Afghan army and other executive decisions. The outgoing president Hamid Karzai, who was constitutionally barred from running for a third term, welcomed the announcement of a deal.
افغانستان ملت د خپل آینده حکومت د جوړښت امضا ولیده او ډېر خوشحاله یم چې زموږ دوه محترم ورونه محترم ډاکټر اشرف غني احمدزی محترم ډاکټر صاحب عبدالله عبدالله په یو افغاني تفاهم کې د دې وطن د خیر او ښېګڼې دپاره.
The American Secretary of State John Kerry also welcomed the deal. He felt this was a vindication of the US government's approach, having worked with both sides over the last few months.
I want to congratulate Dr. Ashraf Ghani, the new president announced of Afghanistan, and Dr. Abdullah Abdullah for their joint act of statesmanship, for their leadership, for their willingness to put Afghanistan and the interests of the Afghan people ahead of their personal interests and party.
However, the mood among the Afghan people is more mixed. Many are happy that the presidential crisis is over, but many are also concerned about whether the government can provide stability for the troubled country.
مردم کارگر است، اگر تجار است، اگر سرمایه‌دار است، کلش امروز بسیار خوشحال است، بسیار خوش هستند به خاطر که 6 ماه یا 5 ماه میگذره از انتخابات، بیکاری به حدی خود رسیده بود، کار نبود، مردم تشویش داشتن، خو نمی‌رفتن، کار نمی‌کردن، کار نبودن. اینقدر تشویش داشتن که دیگه سرمایه‌دارام که کلش انتقال پیدا کرده بود رفته بود خارج سرمایه‌گذاری نمی‌کرد در افغانستان.
The unity government now faces a very serious set of challenges, as the Taliban have stepped up their attacks following the disputed election result. The government also faces growing difficulties improving living standards for Afghans, as tax revenues fall and the flow of aid and defence contracts dries up, as most countries in the NATO-led coalition look to completely pull out of the country by the end of the year. The American government, however, has said that it will extend a limited presence in the country. At the end of May, President Obama announced that the American military will leave approximately 9,800 soldiers deployed in the country until at least 2016, going back on his previous campaign pledge to have totally ended military actions in the country by the end of his presidency.
We have to recognize Afghanistan will not be a perfect place, and it is not America's responsibility to make it one. The future of Afghanistan must be decided by Afghans. But what the United States can do, what we will do, is secure our interests and help give the Afghans a chance, an opportunity to seek a long overdue and hard-earned peace.
Nathaniel Sansom, The Report.
Well, joining me to provide some commentary on this is Dr. Noorul Nasimi, from the European Campaign for Human Rights in Afghanistan, and he's just indeed returned from Afghanistan. Welcome to the programme. Do you think Afghans will feel cheated? There's two candidates, they run an election, and both of them end up running the country. It's not very good advertisement for democracy, is it?
I think the deal that ended almost after 6 months dispute between these two candidates finally was agreed on Saturdays. And the two rivals for the Afghan presidency, finally also have agreed to sign a power-sharing agreement. This was signed in the presence of the United States ambassador in Afghanistan, the chief United Nations in Afghanistan, and also the outgoing president, Ahmed Karzai.
Yeah, okay, so they like it.
Yeah.
But why would an Afghan who went to the polls, voted for one or either of these candidates, be happy that neither of them are running the country, but both of them are? I mean, if in America there was a Republican candidate, a Democrat candidate, and they both end up running the country, people would feel cheated.
We have to admit that Afghanistan or Afghan people have experienced a very long period of war that I don't think that any countries in the world have saw such devastation that people of Afghanistan experienced. But at the same time, we have to admit that for the past 13 years, while we have the United States and the international community presence in Afghanistan, there was a lot of things, positive things has happened as well. You having seen this video clip or the report from Afghanistan, we could see clearly that during the dispute and tension between the two candidates for the past 6 months, people have suffered because of the high unemployment, poverty has been increased, security became worse, and the most important things is about the life of ordinary people. And people, after the announcement of this agreement between two candidates, we could see that the people of Afghanistan, they become happy and they welcome the announcement of the election.
Do you think so? Because these people were both ministers in Hamid Karzai's government. In report after report, over the last 10 years, that government was said to be one of the most corrupt in the world. So is there any hope that this government will be less corrupt?
It's a very interesting question. One of the good things about this government, we could see that Dr. Abdullah was opposition during the Karzai administration. When you have
also a minister.
Also, it was for a few years he was a minister, foreign minister. And then when you have a cabinet where the former opposition will form a new government with a new president, I think that there will be some improvement in the future of government.
Do you think this harmony was hard to achieve? As we all know, it took months to achieve. Do you think it'll last?
I think so, not just me. I think we could see that the Afghan people welcome this announcement, the international community welcomed this decision or the agreement between two candidates, and also the future of Afghanistan. As we could see, the United States, after the announcement of the Afghan election commissions, clearly said that this is an important opportunity for the unity of Afghanistan.
Do you think that's wishful thinking? Because when the troops are reduced, I mean, the troops definitely aren't going, but when they're reduced at the end of the year, do you think the government will be able to survive that? Will it be able to look after its own security?
As I said, that the NATO chief and the European community, as well as the United Kingdom administration, the United States of administration, they, even having a look at the speech of Obama, President of the United States, said that they will stand together with the Afghan people even after 2014, and they will continue supporting Afghanistan in terms of security and reconstruction and economic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, moving on now.